Before we get started, here's a few highlights from today's game.
That one is ripped to right field. Going back is Judd sliding, and he makes the play. No hits, no errors, and one man left. Corralled it, went to the ground, and held on. That one is driven to right field and deep. Or go back on the track at the wall. See ya! An opposite field bullet.
This is 10 rows up and just never left it. Just
ground ball off the middle of the base hit into center. Hicks has it, bobbled and kicked the ball.
That one is looped into right field. It is a base hit. Urshela rounds third. They're sending him home. The throw is not made. It's in.
And there's a shot into right center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Extra base. Driving in Wendell. It's 3-2 Rays.
His runner goes. Pitch out. The throw to second. Oh, beautiful. They got him.
Get your comments ready. Here's Derek with the post-game reaction.
How's it going, everybody? Deja vu all over again. This time, though, with your ace on the mound. The Yankees get swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. They lose this one 4-2. Again, the offense was the issue. Garrett Cole pitched fine. Offense just not hitting the ball. Let me go through my notes. I actually did my notes digitally today. I actually wrote them on my iPad, and I'm looking at them on my screen. So I'm just going to go through and read what I have. That way I don't get distracted by the comments. I'm going to cover them up. So before the game, Jay Bruce retired. This is the second time in recent memory that the Yankees have signed a player, and then they've retired almost immediately. Troy Tulowitzki comes to mind. And, I mean, Bruce was just not good with the Yankees. He was on camera a few times today tutoring Clint Frazier. Seems like a good guy and a real pro, but anyone with eyes could tell you that he had nothing left. It was obvious to me. He had no business being on a so-called championship contender, and one that has begun 5-10 on the season. First inning, both pitchers came out pretty strong. Cole only threw 7 or 8 pitches, so he was very efficient early on. Kitteridge was working his sinker. Sorry, the internet went out on me there real quick. So I was talking about Aaron Judge. He made a nice catch to end the inning in the second inning. I get nervous every time he hits the ground because he's so huge. You got all that weight coming down. I just worry about him on defense when he makes plays like that, but nice play. Bottom of the second, Stanton hits his second home run in 3 games, makes it 1-0 Yankees. First lead the Yankees have held since Wednesday. He was my pick to step up in this series, and he did hit a couple of home runs, but didn't do much else. He had a couple of key strikeouts as well. And it's just not fun to watch him take bad at bats. Good to see him using right field at Yankee Stadium more, though, so that's good. Doesn't have to pull it every time. Frazier had a nasty strikeout to end the inning. Looks to me like he's trying to generate lift on his swing. He's trying to create lift, but that's not his game. He's hitting the top half of the ball and creating top spin. He's got such quick hands that he should just take a direct path to the baseball. If you watch Luke Voit when he gets back, or go back and watch a slow-mo of one of his home runs, he does that thing where he takes his hands right to the ball. He strikes at the ball, right? As a hitter, your coaches will tell you hands to the ball, hands to the ball. That's because it's like an optical illusion. If you take your hands and cover the ball, it naturally puts the barrel on the right path for the baseball. So if your timing is right and you just take a hands to the ball approach, you should hit the ball hard. That's what Luke Voit does. That's what Clint Frazier needs to do. Right now he's trying to create lift. That's not how you hit home runs. Top 3, Cole allows a few hits. Hicks booted consecutive balls in center field, and the crowd let him have it. They gave it to him all day. Some days I think he should just focus on getting his PGA Tour card. Just give up baseball. Let Mike Tauchman take over. Rays take a 2-1 lead on a sac fly. Clint Frazier overthrew his target by 50 feet. Crowd was not loving that one either. Cole hit 100 miles an hour with 2 outs in the third. Backed it up with a 91-mile-an-hour changeup to get the strikeout. Brilliant pitching from him. 100-mile-an-hour setup pitch from Garrett Cole. Cole had another quick inning in the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, Hicks popped out on the first pitch. Really, really hearing it from the fans at this point. Honestly, that might have been as loud as the stadium got all season until they booed him his next time up. If he doesn't turn it around soon, I'm telling you, I've seen it before. The fans are going to boo him right out of New York. They're just going to boo him right out of New York. So Stanton gets a ugly strikeout, and then Gleyber Torres, surprise, surprise, a pop-up. When this kid is swinging the way he is, he pops up almost every time. It's crazy. He had another pop-up later on. Bottom of the fifth, Gio Urshela with a leadoff hit. I think they need to find a way to get him up in the lineup a bit. Look, even if you just scoot him up for a few games, just give some protection or get some hits at the top of the lineup. Odor had a little nubber, and then Frazier hit a ground out to third base. After a decent at-bat, though. And then Higgy had a great at-bat to work a walk. He had a couple of good at-bats today. And then DJ LeMahieu fights one off and picks up a base hit. Obviously, hitting with runners in scoring position, something the Yankees haven't been doing. DJ's usually pretty good at that. And today was a good example. He just fights it off, gets a base hit. Then Judge goes down on strikes, chases a bad pitch. 2-2 at the end of the fifth. Top of the sixth, strikeout of Meadows on another changeup, and then another changeup to get Lau. So he's definitely throwing the changeup more. That is Garrett Cole. He's definitely throwing it more this year, and I think it's why he's going to have a Cy Young caliber year. His ERA stands at 1.82, I believe. His final line for today, 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts. Down votes are flowing in. Top of the seventh, Rays knock Garrett Cole out of the game. He does pick up his 10th strikeout, but he also gives up the go-ahead single. He wasn't the problem today. The Yankees just can't hit. Bottom of the seventh, the Yankees go quietly. Higashioka worked another good at-bat with a walk. Top of the eighth, Chad Green did a really nice job in relief. I thought he was fine today. And then Higashioka absolutely hosed a runner on a pitch out. Got him by a few feet, and it wasn't even close. Bottom of the eighth, Judge strikes out again, now 4 for his last 28, I think they said. And then Hicks popped up again, and honestly, that was even louder than the previous time. That was the loudest the stadium had been all year. And then Stanton struck out and also heard the boos. 2 pop-outs today for Gleyber Torres. And look, Gleyber Torres, let me start back in the early 90s. Matt Noakes was the Yankees catcher back in the early 90s, and he would either hit a home run or pop out. And my brother used to call him Pop Out King Noakes. I used to copy his stance in the backyard, and even I would pop up because it was just such an uppercut swing. And I think that Gleyber Torres is the first player to compete for that pop-out title that Matt Noakes had in the early 90s. Just absolutely awful. Top of the ninth, Wendell homered with 2 outs to make it 4-2. And then the Yankees go quietly in the bottom of the ninth and drop this one 4-2. All right, so obviously downvotes are flooding in, but hey, don't hate me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just telling you guys what happened, right? Don't downvote me because the Yankees suck. They're playing like garbage. Oh, man. I would love to have a new hitting coach. Somebody said in one of the comments, I saw it early on before I could even put it on the screen, that Marcus Thames might need to be the sacrificial lamb at this point. Right? Marcus Thames is the guy who's trying to get these guys off the schneid. Obviously, whatever he's telling them isn't working. And Lindsay Adler had an interesting tweet. She said that yesterday the Rays won because of home runs. And so anybody complaining about the Yankees' home run or nothing approach is just flat out wrong. And it's not that simple, Lindsay. It's not that simple. The Rays aren't trying to hit home runs on every pitch. Home runs, yes, they do win you the game. But not when you're trying to hit them on every pitch. The Rays have hitters that happen to run into a couple of home runs. The Yankees are going up there swinging from the heels every time, and it's just not a good approach, right? If you can get guys on base and force the pitcher to throw more pitches, then maybe you hit a home run, 3-run home run, something like that. You got to get traffic on the bases. You got to have singles. You got to have doubles. You got to make the pitcher work. And the Yankees just aren't doing that right now. Head's going to roll soon. I agree. Another day, another loss. What do you know?
It's awful.
PJ King says, I feel bad for Cole. Yeah, I said the same thing. I actually wrote it in my notes that I feel bad for Cole today. He deserved better. He really did. He deserved better. He had great stuff. He broke Masahiro Tanaka's record for most strikeouts in the first 4 games of the season. He's got a 1.82 ERA. Yankees dugout is deader than the Kennedys. I was going to do my Kennedy impression, but I'm just not in the mood for jokes. We must get more hits. There we go. Joe Manzione says, bring up Andujar. We need a spark. So Andujar has just started taking BP. Hopefully he can get back up here soon, but honestly, Andujar hasn't been the same since his shoulder injury. I'm interested to see what he has left. He didn't even look good this spring. Pop S Gaming says we should get AJ Hinch. Absolutely not. I'd rather go 0 for the rest of the season than hire AJ Hinch. Jaden Sanchez says, I'm not watching the Brave series. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. The Yankees right now look like a bunch of clowns. SB Game says, read my chat, please. Sorry, I missed your chat. You're going to have to go ahead and resend it because when I'm doing my notes, I'm not looking at the comments anymore because I get distracted. And this is NYY Recaps. I got to get through my recaps before I break into the commentary with the fans. Patrick says, do you think we should have signed DD and traded Gleyber? At the time, it looked like the right move to keep Gleyber Torres. He was coming off a pretty good year. Really good year, actually. And before last season, he was predicted to have A-Rod level numbers, but he must have read that. And he must have gotten in his head somehow that you've got to try and hit home runs every single time because it's all he's doing. He's just taking massive swings. And that's not what we need. When the Yankees traded for him, and Patrick had a good comment on this last night on his broadcast, maybe yesterday afternoon. When the Yankees traded for Gleyber Torres, the thought wasn't that he would be another home run hitting infielder. The thought was that he could be a guy who could hit 330. They were going after what DJ LeMahieu ended up being. And that's why I was encouraged this spring when Gleyber had a good spring and he was kind of shadowing DJ LeMahieu around the field. He was, LeMahieu was kind of mentoring him on how to hit. And since the season started, it's like Gleyber Torres, just a switch is flipped. But first of all, I want to talk about Aaron Hicks because Aaron Hicks, I think, is wearing out his welcome. The fans let it be known today that it's time for him to take his annual strained oblique golf vacation. And I'm not saying I want him to get hurt, but if you want to go take a couple of weeks off and go play golf in Malibu, let's let Mike Tauchman play. We just got to shake it up. You can't keep running these guys out there and letting them lose. You just can't do it. Squisher King says Cole was the only one out there competing today. He also says we need Hensley Mullins. Bam Bam. I remember Bam Bam from back in the day. Chichi says we need Sonny Gray back. No, Sonny Gray was not mentally tough enough to help the Yankees. Just not mentally tough enough. Lori C says Aaron should opt out of New York. Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks needs to just go on vacation, man. Rock City says Yankees are making me sick. I think they're making us all sick. We've got 333 people, 341 now on the stream. I think that's an all-time record for me. Because people misery loves company, right? People just don't want to watch this crap. This is not the brand of baseball that excites people. We don't want to see you waiting around 7 innings to try and hit a solo home run. Let's make something happen. Let's put the hit and run on. When was the last time somebody tried to bunt against the shift? Or did it successfully? When was the last time that we had somebody steal a bag? Remember Mike Tauchman, I think it was opening day. He stole a couple of bags. He made something happen with his legs. That's the type of energy we need right now. I feel bad for Clint Frazier because he's catching a lot from the fans. I think, honestly, that's the Yankees' fault. I think they put him in a bad position by, you can't play the guy 2 days, let him sit for 2 days, play him 2 days, let him sit for 2 days, let him play 4 innings and pull him for defense, let him sit for another day, play him. That's not how you instill confidence in a young player. Let him get out there and play, and he's going to struggle. He's struggling right now. Let him do it. He's probably going to struggle for another 4 or 5 days, but you know what's going to happen? May 1st is going to roll around, and he's going to hit 280 with 7 or 8 jacks in May. He's going to catch fire. We're going to forget about it. He's going to turn his confidence up. Oh, we got the dono hype. Lori C. coming through in the clutch. Carla Pavano. If you guys missed that, Carlos Pavano, or Carl Pavano, sorry. Carl Pavano back in 2007. Maybe it was, actually, he was back it was 2005. He made 4 or 5 starts. Wasn't bad for the Yankees. And then he was basically on the injured list for 3 years. And he missed basically an entire season with a quote-unquote bruised buttocks. And it was, I've never heard someone get ripped so bad in the newspapers and on Yankees radio. I don't think Twitter was a thing back then, but I wish it was, because there would have been some priceless tweets about Carl Pavano. Ian Stildis, I said that wrong. Satilides says the Yankees have missed their window. They were the best team for 3 years straight, and now teams aren't buying it anymore. You're not wrong. There's something to that. I'm going to give you a little applause here. There's something to that. Teams have a window in which they can win, in which, I feel like the Yankees were a little bit ahead of their window in 2017, and they probably should have won against the Astros that season, but the Astros were clearly cheating. 2018, I feel like they just didn't have the same kind of pitching, the same kind of chemistry. It just, something was missing, and they get beat by the Red Sox. 2019, they probably could have won again. Last year was ideally going to be their year to win the World Series. You get Garrett Cole, you got guys coming back, but COVID ruined that. And now I feel like this team has missed their window. So we've got a, I don't have it on the screen, but Board Rican Veteran says, I'm sick of this. Hal should have put a limit on salary before getting Stanton. Hey, look. First of all, don't know hype. Boom, boom. First of all, I thought trading for Stanton, I was ecstatic when the Yankees traded for Stanton. But in the back of my mind, there's that little voice that tells you that this might not work out exactly how we think it should. And honestly, I feel like they should have gone after Bryce Harper. At least Bryce Harper would be a left-handed bat, and he's hitting pretty well right now in Philadelphia. Came back off the injured list today and hit a home run. Anyway, Yankees go down again today, 4-2. Tough day for the Yankees. They do have a day off tomorrow. They need it. Maybe they should practice baseball. I don't know. Practice hitting. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. But they need to do something. All right, guys. I'll see you Tuesday night. Actually, I'll be back Tuesday morning for Yankees game day before the Braves series. Up to 395 in the chat. So thanks to all of 403. Wow, pretty good. So thanks to everybody who joined. Make sure you go back and watch from the beginning if you came on late. I did put up highlights from this miserable game. But hey, they almost won.